You're listening to the only GLBT sports radio show in the nation. Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX. This is Compete Sports News Brief.
This is Buddy Early with your Compete Sports News Brief. It's been 1 week since the NFL's lockout became a reality, and there is still no indication of how long this labor dispute might continue. It's in the hands of the U.S. District Court currently, and ultimately up to the parties involved to strike a compromise, as impossible as that sounds. But one thing is certain. Neither the players nor the owners are favoring too well in the court of public opinion. A recent Bloomberg poll found that although Americans favored the players by more than a 2-to-1 margin, 37% said they were disinterested or unsure. In the category of who can be more petty, the players won up to the owners this week. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the NFL Players Association has contacted 17 top prospects who ordinarily would have received an invitation to attend the April 28 draft and informed them not to go. Typically, draftees, after hearing their name called, would join Commissioner Roger Goodell on the stage at Radio City Music Hall, get the hat and jersey of their new team, pose for photos, and submit to televised interviews. If the NFLPA has its way, however, those moments of a lifetime will not happen. On Tuesday, NFLPA Executive George Atala tweeted that there would be no boycott, but followed that up with a very vague message implying that the organization would host draftees at a separate location down the street. Last week, the union decertified, meaning it declared itself out of the business of representing players. In exchange for giving up their rights under labor law, the players are able to take their chances in court under antitrust law. But the union still exists to offer support to the players. While NFL players and owners are doing possible irreparable damage to their reputations, American soccer is enjoying a growth spurt. Major League Soccer kicked off its 16th season this week with interest at an all-time high. Thanks to newer franchises in Seattle, Philadelphia, and Toronto, the league set a total attendance record last season, and its average of 16,675 rivals and even beats attendance at many professional baseball, basketball, and hockey arenas. With new additions in Portland and Vancouver bringing the league to 18 teams, the future looks even brighter. And figure skating gold medalist Evan Lysacek was named the winner of the Sullivan Award this week. The honor goes annually to an outstanding amateur athlete and is based on leadership, character, and sportsmanship. I'll be back later with another sports brief.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
One Community is an interactive web and events community for gay, lesbian, and allied individuals and corporations. For more information, please log on to onecommunity.co.
Ready for countdown.
You're listening to Compete Radio with your host, Josh Fourier. Sports News Brief with Buddy Early. Alfonso Chavez with Sports Pop. The conservative voice, Eric Carlisle. And resident straight lady, Connie Wardman.
Welcome to the big show. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am Josh Fourier, your host, here with Alfonso Chavez, not Chavez.
Thank you for that, Josh.
Alfonso Chavez. Buddy Early, of course, with the news, and our conservative voice, Eric Carlisle. Connie is sick today.
I've decided I'll be the resident straight lady today there, Josh.
Okay. She must have that creeping crud she's always throwing around.
Oh, that phrase.
And I don't think any of us will argue that we have no problem letting Eric be the straight lady.
Yeah, but, you know, we do hope Connie gets better. We hope she's listening and comes back to join us soon. We miss her. Everybody in the Valley is pretty much fallen ill to something. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I myself, I had to go to the doctor over the weekend, bronchitis, antibiotics, the full deal. Finally starting to feel better, just a little congestion, but it's that time of year.
Actually, I hear it's syphilis.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No. So how's everyone's week been? Good so far?
Speaking of syphilis, the Desert AIDS Project has a syphilis ad out, so I better go.
Oh, God. Wow. We have a lot going on this week in Sports Pop.
This is Sports Pop.
All right, so once again, it seems like another athlete has emerged from the closet. Alfonso, who is this guy, and why is he coming out, and what is the reaction?
Well, this guy's name is Anton Heisen, and he's actually a soccer player from Sweden. And his father is actually a former player for, let's see, what team was that again? Liverpool, which is really a big deal, if you played soccer professionally for Liverpool. The issue here wasn't so much that this player came out, it was that there's a lot of people making a big deal about the fact that he's a fourth-tier soccer player, which I guess isn't the highest level of soccer. I guess it's kind of like playing in the minor leagues,
so
in baseball.
Is he a fourth-tier gay as well?
I don't know if he's a fourth-tier gay. He's probably a top-tier gay because, he has blonde hair and he's young.
He's young, exactly.
So what are they saying exactly? That him coming out just doesn't matter as much because he's not this pro athlete in the top 10 or whatever he's supposed to be?
I think the general gist of it has been that people are like, oh, well, he's only a fourth-tier soccer player. Big deal. That's pretty much
you know what? I think there's some truth to that because, we've always said if there's going to be, a watershed of change in the sports world when it comes to homophobia, it's not going to be the guy at the end of the bench who's going to change people's attitudes because, the guy at the end of the bench doesn't get a lot of press. Not a lot of people care about him. It's going to be, Derek Jeter, LeBron James, Peyton Manning, someone of that stature who's going to have a huge impact. So, unfortunately, I think there's some truth to that argument that it doesn't really matter.
Well, I think it's great whenever anyone comes to terms with their sexuality. They come out of the closet, they're open about it. It's a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. And, the bottom line is it's not a big deal. People don't care. People are too busy to care.
Well, here's a question for Alfonso, because I didn't do any research on this because that's not my thing. Anyway, you said his father was a professional player for Liverpool. The first question I'd ask him is, did his father ever switch teams?
I don't know that his father switched teams, but I do know that his father actually gave a speech at a gay event. I don't have the details of the event in front of me, but at the event he spoke about a 16-year-old soccer player who talked about how he had trouble coming out. Well, that 16-year-old soccer player was his son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So, now, is he supportive of his son?
He actually did come out big time in support of his son. It's funny that you bring that up because a lot of people have also mentioned that it may not have been as easy for him to come out if his dad wasn't his coach of his soccer team.
Yeah.
Now, how big a star is Gareth Thomas?
He's a pretty big rugby star,
he
I
is.
believe.
But he's coming out near the end of his career, right? Whereas this guy's coming out early on.
Yeah, you could say it's early on in this kid's career, and the fact that he's, like Alfonso said, a fourth-tier player, who knows how long a career he's actually going to have.
But is that a starting place? I don't know, what is his ability where he could play?
Sure. At 20 years old, to even be in a professional league, at whatever tier, that's an accomplishment. A lot of baseball players do not actually make it to the majors until 23, 24.
And one other thing I was going to add was basically an echo of what Buddy just said, is that there's a lot of players who started in lower tier leagues. We know of one particular athlete around here. I don't know if I can say his name or not, so I won't. But it took him some time to work his way up after college from not exactly NBA level professional, but he played in some other semi-professional leagues before he worked his way up into professional leagues. And everybody is going to know that this kid, Anton Heisen, is gay. Everybody he works with, every team he plays on, and we don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on his career moving forward. So when some people say, oh, he's only a fourth-tier soccer player, big deal, this could really affect his career and whether or not people want to work with him and how he's treated going forward.
Well, with the history of this show and the athletes that we've interviewed, professional or amateur, it seems that after they come out, they all have a really positive, open arms experience with all of their players, other teams. It seems like maybe this whole gay bashing phase in society is kind of going away.
This guy isn't quite as established as some of those athletes, though.
Yeah.
He's also in Europe, which is a different climate for this, too, right?
Aren't European, isn't that more open? Aren't they more open?
Well, the soccer... I think the players are a little more open about it. I think it's the fans. Well, actually, sometimes they say even the fans are like, okay with the gay player.
Yeah.
So you have some people saying, oh, it's the fans, and some people saying, oh, it's the clubs, and it's the teams, and it's the coaches.
I think Anton Heisen, though, is very typical of any 20-year-old kid coming out, whether it's in Europe or this country. It's a whole generational thing. You were talking about everyone's okay with it now. And definitely, he's of the generation where you just say, I'm gay, what about it? Who cares?
Yeah.
Whereas you were talking about Gareth Thomas, Eric, a little older, more of an established athlete, and someone like Gareth Thomas, it's a much bigger deal for his generation, which I think is a little closer to, say, my generation, to come out, and he feels a pressure, I think, Gareth Thomas, to be a voice and be an advocate. And I don't get the impression that this kid, Anton Heisen, and I'm not criticizing him for it, but I don't get the impression that he's in any way wanting to be that person who's standing up and being the face of equality.
What I would be curious to know, I mean, people are referring to him as the fourth tier, not a big deal because he's not, some big shot, as much as other players could be. I would be curious, to hear back from our listeners, even you guys right now. We're almost out of time, though. My curiosity is, would it matter? Would it convince people to come out or come to terms with their sexuality if he was at the top tier? Like, for example, when a big star comes out like Ellen DeGeneres, that in no way impacted my personal decision on where I was in my life. Do you think that when a celebrity or someone comes out, that really does impact other people?
I think it does. I think Ellen's coming out didn't impact you or me. In fact, I had just recently come out like a year before Ellen did. But I think it did. I think someone of Ellen's stature, like an athlete like Gareth Thomas, or even this kid who's not well known, can have a huge impact on someone who looks up to them or who identifies with them.
Right. Well, I mean,
let's carry this over, Josh, to the next Sports Pop.
Yeah, it's a real interesting topic. If you're listening right now, log on to CompeteRadio.com. We'll link you over to the Facebook where you can leave your comments and opinions. Coming up next, we have a representative from Thiq Ink who is going to talk to us about their establishment, who they are, and what they're doing. Go ahead and log on to CompeteRadio.com right now. We'll take a break and be right back in just a couple minutes. Stay with us.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Thompson Image Photography specializes in headshots, portraits, children's photography, weddings, commitment ceremonies, editorial, and lifestyle photography. Our studio is located in Paradise Valley. We offer a wide range of products from your standard prints to prints on canvas. There are two photographers at Thompson Image Photography, Don Thompson and Stephanie Heyman. We can be reached at 602-418-2262, and please visit our website, www.thompsonimage.com.
The party place to be for over 26 years is Charlie's at 7th Avenue and Camelback in the heart of Central Phoenix. There's always something going on and drink specials every day. Kick off your weekend the wet way with Go-Go Boys and dance music on the patio with Wet Fridays at 9:30 and after hours until 4 a.m. Also wrap up your weekend on Sunday with the party on the patio starting at 3 p.m. It's Sinful Sundays with volleyball all afternoon and drink specials too hot to handle. Find us on Facebook under Charlie's Phoenix and get updates on daily specials. It's Charlie's.
Dirty going on.
Compete Radio is the only gay sports radio show in Arizona. Advertisers of this program reach more than 95% of Maricopa County, and by advertising on Compete Radio, you show the citizens of Arizona that your business believes in diversity, equality, and human rights. 79% of our audience is more likely to buy from a gay-friendly business, and loyalty to the Compete brand is at an all-time high. For more information on advertising on Compete Radio, please call 480-222-4223. That's 480-222-4223, or log on to CompeteNetwork.com and click on Advertise.
So you might ask, what do we have at Thiq Ink Studio? We feature different artists with varied mediums, and Art Detour, which is coming up this weekend, the 19th and the 20th. is the largest show of the year, so of course we have amazing treasures for everyone, which include vintage clothing, leather goods, wink wink, customized mid-century modern furniture, import and local one-of-a-kind jewelry and accessories. Thiq Ink Studio can be found downtown, 316 West McDowell Road, Studio 103, Phoenix, Arizona, 85003. Our website is www.thiqink.com, and the spelling of Thiq Ink is THIQINK. Our phone number is 602-253-4434.
At In Touch Wellness Center, our team has the experience and compassion to ease your mind and take care of your specific needs. We are committed to the newest techniques available and are always searching for new ways to effectively care for our patients. Stop by our office located in Phoenix at 3431 West Thunderbird Road, Suite 9, or call 602-548-1998. You can also log on to intouchwellnesscenter.com.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
Compete Night at the Coyotes with Ion AZ March 29th at jobbing.com Arena. Call 480-222-4223 for more information.
Compete Radio. Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. We're here with the owners of Thiq Ink, Dana and Cole Reed. They're also artists as well. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Hello, thank you.
How we doing?
Absolutely amazing.
Perfect. So, Thiq Ink, very popular studio, yes?
We think so, definitely.
Beautiful art.
Amazing art, furniture, accessories.
And tell me a little bit about Thiq Ink.
Well, Thiq Ink is the fusion of functionality and art. So a lot of our art that we have is definitely a combination of functional goods, whether it be furniture, homewares, things of that nature, vintage clothing and goods, and of course the amazing artists that we are very proud to have in our cachet.
Right, you're both artists as well with your art in the studio, yes?
Yes.
Or the gallery. What's the proper term?
We say studio.
Studio.
Yes,
okay.
studio.
I got it right. All right. So, not only is your art there, but you also have art from various artists in the Valley or the nation?
We have throughout the United States. We've got close personal friends that I either went to school with, that I know, or people that have heard about us and wanted to join our cachet. So,
now, how would, let's say, I was an artist and I wanted to get my art in Thiq Ink. Would I have a way of doing that, or is it pretty much just kind of an in-network type?
No,
setup?
definitely. You give us a call, and we would love to see some of the live work. I think that photographs are fabulous, but there's nothing like the textural emotion that comes behind seeing the art in person.
Right.
So basically, if we like it, there's no major science to it. We love it if we would live with it ourselves. So there's no scientific review. It's like, oh, that's beautiful, or that incites emotion. Let's show that. We think a lot of people would enjoy it.
Right. Now, any of the art there, is any of the art available for purchase?
Oh, definitely. All of the art is available for purchase.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, how does First Friday affect your studio? Are you guys in the area where First Friday is held?
Definitely. We can be found at 316 West McDowell Road, Studio 103, Phoenix, Arizona 85003. So First Friday, since we're on McDowell, is definitely a huge part of our business.
Perfect. And has there been a big turnout?
Yes, it also depends on the season because, Phoenix is pretty hot.
Yes.
So in the summers, we usually close down for, half or most of the summer
Right.
because the people aren't out.
Right.
But through the spring and fall, definitely, it's an amazing, opportunity for people to meet other people, artists to meet other artists, and people to interact with the artists themselves.
Sure. I'm not sure if you already specified, but how long has your studio been open at this location?
Just over 4 years.
Wow.
So it's been a momentum, growing slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It started in one space, and now we have 2 spaces in the building. So it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A huge accomplishment, in this economy, more than anything, to keep anything open nowadays. So that says a lot. I mean, you obviously have a following. You obviously have a collection of art that is unique in a lot of ways because it's a collection of different artists. I want to know how you both decided that you wanted to open this gallery or studio, and what got you interested in art in the first place. How do you know you're an artist?
Well, for us, the gallery scene, for the most part, is about the gallery taking 50%. And being an artist, first and foremost, I wanted to have a place where local artists or, artists across the U.S. could actually eat and show their work. And therefore, it was a little bit cheaper because we're definitely a community art space.
Sure.
There's something at everyone's price point. We wanted people to come in and enjoy the experience and for the artists to get paid what's fair. So being an artist first, we wanted, definitely to invite the artists. So they're there for most of the shows so people can interact with them and get their own feedback on their work, where they're coming from at the time. So we don't shadow the artist. Basically what that means, to get to the artist, you have to go through us. We really like the artist to participate.
Right.
So therefore the work, once again, is more affordable.
Right. So when you first opened your studio, how many pieces of art did you have?
Oh, wow. The first show, embarrassingly enough, there was probably a total of 10 pieces, 10, 15 pieces.
Okay.
At the time, it was a work live space, and then that just grew, and I outgrew, the workspace. I needed more. We needed more, tripping over the art and the furniture, and, someone suggested, you definitely need a larger opportunity because your following is bigger than the space. And so that's when, after fear, we overrode the fear and said, let's do this. And so we took on a larger space just for the studio, and we have what we call the lab, which is basically our office where all the creations take place.
And so in this lab, is it photography? Is it sketch, painting? What types of art take place in the lab?
Well, for us, Dan and I are both photographers, but I also refurbish mid-century modern furniture, customized, and just it's our haven, basically, where we can go and create in peace and just simply have it be, where you're not dividing your time between the home environment and the work environment. It's just the work environment.
Yeah, I do have a couple questions I'd like to ask you about
Yes.
that. If you've just joined us, though, we are speaking with Dana and Cole Reed. They are the owners of Thiq Ink, located here in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, I wanted to ask, is there a certain type of energy or mood or whatever you have to be in order to do what you do?
It's synergetic, and it's addicting.
It's addicting.
It's synergetic and it's addicting. When you meet an artist, locally who hasn't felt that they've been welcomed by, I guess, the more quote-unquote elite, studios, because we definitely consider ourselves an elite studio, but I think sometimes
I would say so.
There's so much that goes along with the art, whether it be the look or the mood that certain galleries are looking for, and we just want you as you are.
Yeah.
We want you to participate. We want you to love what you do so people can feel that energy. And when there's no pretense, you just get raw art, and it's amazing.
Our motto is the fusion of functionality and art, and we live that every day. But we also encourage absolutely everybody who comes into our studio to find a way to bring art into their life.
That is an awesome philosophy.
Definitely.
That's very cool. So is this full-time for both of you?
No, actually, and that's why we've been invited to do this more. Thiq Ink started out as an idea, which grew into a passion, which grew into ballooning every day. Dana does accounting, and I'm an optician. So,
okay.
So if you need your glasses, come on down and see us.
Sure.
So it's pretty amazing, and
Or
we
your
found
finances, yes.
Right.
she takes care of all of that for us. at the studio. So it's pretty amazing. We found a way to make our lives more artistic because that is what we were suited to do.
Yeah, just to find the time in the day to be able to do that is an accomplishment within itself.
But when you're passionate about it, I have to say that too. So many people allow, I think, whether it be their families, the community, to paint on their canvas. And for us, what that basically means is, you let them structure your life however, that's going to look like, and then it's your signature on the bottom, but you don't recognize the work.
Right. Very cool. Now, Thiq Ink is located where?
316 West McDowell Road, Studio 103, Phoenix, Arizona, 85003.
And do you have a website or a phone number people can call?
Both. www.thiqink.com, and Thiq Ink is spelled for the website THIQINK.com.
Very interesting way to spell
yes.
that. Very cool. Now, aside from First Friday, when can I come and take a look at your gallery along with all of our other listeners? We're all going to show up at your door at the same time. So.
Well, actually, this weekend being the largest show of the year, this Saturday, it's from 10 to 6-ish, we like to say, because sometimes people don't want to leave, and Sunday from noon to 6-ish. And like I said, we have a cachet of opportunities and goods from the vintage, leatherware, and I would love to give you a list of the artists that are showing as well.
Oh yeah, I would love to. We could even put that up on CompeteRadio.com as well as
Definitely.
Of course a link over to your website. Well, we have been speaking with Dana and Cole Reed. They are the owners of Thiq Ink, located in Phoenix, Arizona. Log on to thiqink.com for everything about their studio, and that's THIQINK.com. Well, Dana, Cole, thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more. We'll be back after this.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
This week we're featuring Alexi Andrikos, Lady Gaga, Madonna cover mashup right here on Compete Radio.
Step up, Lady Gaga. Wanna give you my ha, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Mama told me when I was young, we were all born superstars. She wiped my face off and left no dirt in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, boy, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret, just love yourself and you'll say I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Second best, baby, put your love to the test. You know you got to make him express how it feels to me.
Compete Radio is putting the spotlight on you. Do you know a local or regional artist that you would like to hear featured on Compete Radio? If so, send me an email at josh@competenetwork.com. That's josh@competenetwork.com. Tell me who they are, what they do, send me a clip, and you might hear them right here on Compete Radio's Artist Spotlight.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
Roscoe's on 7th, just south of Highland on 7th Street. For more information, log on to roscoeson7th.com.
This is Compete Sports News Brief.
I'm Buddy Early. If you're wondering who's going to come out on top of the Summer Olympics in London next year, wonder no more. It's the U.S., followed by China. That's according to an algorithm that projects rankings based on athletes' results in events such as World Championships and World Cup. The virtual medal table, as it is called, was launched by the USA Today this week and predicts that the U.S. will lead the way with 88 total medals. China is expected to be second with 84. The U.S. is also projected to win 36 golds compared to 27 for China. Back in the real world, Japan has canceled a number of high-profile sporting events in response to the recent tragedies suffered by the country. The International Skating Union has called off the World Figure Skating Championships, which were scheduled to start in Tokyo on Monday. ISU President Ottavio Cinquanta said the governing body made the decision out of concern for the safety of the participants and spectators. Many governments have issued travel advisories urging citizens to avoid travel to Japan at this time. Additionally, the World Team Trophy in figure skating, scheduled to be held in Yokohama April 14th through the 17th, has been called off as well. And there will be no soccer in Japan for the rest of the month. With at least one club stadium destroyed and its players disbanding, Japan's National Soccer League this week canceled all games in the country for the rest of the month of March because of the devastation from the massive earthquake and tsunami. More matches could be lost in April depending on the disaster recovery. The state of Indiana has fined the University of Notre Dame $77,500 in response to the death of a student last October 27th. A 4-month investigation found the school did not maintain safe working conditions and failed to heed wind warnings when a hydraulic lift the student was standing on to film football practice toppled over in 51-mile-per-hour gusts. The Indiana Department of Labor said that the school will be fined $22,500 for 5 violations, including failing to properly train Declan Sullivan, a 20-year-old junior film student. The university was also found to be at fault for allowing Sullivan to be in the lift after the National Weather Service had issued a wind advisory. Notre Dame also knowingly exposed Sullivan, according to the report, and 2 other videographers to unsafe conditions, and the school has been fined $55,000 for that. The school has until April 7th to respond to the state's report. I'm Buddy Early, and this has been another Compete Sports News Brief.
This is Sports Pop.
Welcome back to the show. During the first segment, we were talking about he was a 4th-tier athlete. What was his name, Alfonso?
Anton Heisen.
Yeah, he came out of the closet. People were saying it's not a big deal because he's not, top tier, big pro soccer player. I had asked at the end of the first segment what our opinions were of celebrities that came out and how that influenced us as individuals and if we, should come out or not come out. It didn't impact me at all, Buddy. You think it does impact people?
I think it does. You were talking about Ellen DeGeneres. No, she didn't impact me, and there were no out athletes either that impacted me. But I know a lot of people have said that, they do. It does impact their decision to come out and their self-esteem and just their whole awareness of the gay community and whatnot.
Because they feel they have the support.
Sure.
Yeah, like Ricky Martin. I was surprised he actually finally did it.
You were surprised he came out.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Well, we all knew forever. It
Yeah.
was just, wasn't it back in 1996? Barbara Walters put him on the spot in this interview in his deer in headlights. Yeah.
She says that's one of her biggest regrets of her career now.
Yeah. Well, everyone's secrets always come out.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did want to add to that effect, what with the question you asked was maybe it doesn't affect us directly, but there are people. I mean, we're in a major city, so we don't see what happens in smaller cities across the United States.
It can be brutal.
Yeah, and I think maybe somebody like Ellen DeGeneres coming out, or maybe, say for example, and I don't think this person's gay at all, but maybe somebody like Tom Brady. Like for example, if Tom Brady was gay and he came out, yeah, that would be a big deal too. And I think that would really affect people more in small size cities.
Yeah,
that would really change their opinion of gay people, and it might make life a little bit easier for the gay lesbian people in those areas. Whether or not they, not whether or not they come out, but how they view the life where they live.
Sure,
they might not dislike it as much.
Can we have a breakthrough on the show today? Let's have like.
I want RuPaul to come out. I am waiting for RuPaul to say, yes, I'm here, I'm queer, get used to it.
Forget RuPaul. I think, Alfonso, I hate to put you on the spot here, but I think it's time you come out of the closet.
What closet? There hasn't been a closet around me in years.
How long have you been out of the closet, Alfonso?
Well, I kind of started acknowledging it like when I was in junior high, around 6th grade, and then I started coming to terms with it like when I was in high school, and when I was in college, that's kind of when I'm like, okay, well, I started telling people I was around, and I ended up telling my family like my freshman year in college.
Yeah. What about you, buddy? When did you come out?
Actually, around the same time as Alfonso.
Yeah.
Around the same year, I should say, not the same time because we're slightly different ages, but
yeah, we were going to college. We knew each other in college. Yeah.
Oh.
You're a good example of someone who's a fourth-tier person, Josh, coming out, because when you came out at 16, well, no, didn't you have your own TV and radio show at 16? Or?
Oh my, yeah, low rated.
But that's fourth tier, right?
Satellite.
And now you're up to first tier at Compete Radio. So
low ratings, high drama.
Look what that can do. Really, look what that can do for people. I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people. In fact, I've heard your previous broadcast, and I know you've inspired a lot of people. Expired. Excuse my language.
You've killed many. No.
Oh yeah. Okay. So. Let's move on. NFL. There's a lot going on in the NFL. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's something in the news about the NFL. I hear there's a lockout.
Yeah, there's really a lot of players out there that really aren't happy with the way negotiations are going. And, in the last week, basically, the negotiations just kind of imploded. And one player... Adrian Peterson of the Minnesota Vikings did an interview with someone at Yahoo, and he said that he feels as though...
This is quoting him, right?
Yeah, this is quoting him, like, with the situation in the NFL with, management and the players is like, quote-unquote, modern-day slavery. And... He also went on to mention that there are people who have quote-unquote regular jobs who are in similar situations where owners wanted a quote-unquote different percentage. And I'm guessing he's referring to the profits that come in.
Okay.
And he believes that players should stand their ground, quote-unquote, because football is not football without football players, which, is a valid point.
Yeah.
But you don't have a business without a business owner, right?
Right.
Well, Dairy Queen isn't a dairy without a queen. So, I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, yes, that is true.
Here's what doesn't make any sense. This is a classic labor battle. I mean, it happens to be, millionaires versus billionaires, but when you get right down to it, it's a union labor battle, and that's understandable. We have those in this country all the time.
Why do you have to play the slavery card again? Right. Why?
Here's the thing about that.
I'm going to address that after Buddy finishes his thought.
The players were winning, at least in the public's eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the last week or so, now they've come out and say things like the NFL is akin to slavery, and these other things that I'm like, you're winning. Shut up. People want you to win, and now their popularity is going down. And Adrian Peterson, who is a really great guy, one of the best players in the league, usually, a very good gentleman, I think, most of the time. I don't understand what he's doing making these comments.
I don't know if any millionaires or multimillionaires that are justified in associating themselves with the word slavery in any way whatsoever.
Here's something else I want to add to that. He has about $10 million owed to him in his $40 million 5-year contract.
What is that?
So basically, he's making $8 million a year for 5 years.
Right.
And I don't know if Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth had this $40 million dollar contract that they voluntarily signed to get themselves into the situation they were in and, head for the North. There are, for those who don't know this, there really are modern-day slaves. There are women, there are children who are sold into slavery, and it happens in the United States. It happens outside of the United States, where people are involuntarily taken and put into some kind of work they don't want to do, and typically it's the sex trade.
That happened to me last weekend at the Leather Bar over here in Central Phoenix.
That was voluntary,
but
buddy.
You paid for that. These people are not being,
Part of the whole act was that I would pretend that I didn't want it, but I kind of did.
Role play. We learn something new about Buddy every week.
This really applies to Compete Radio because, speaking of labor unions, and I'll get off this real quick, we're going to be in Madison, Wisconsin on the mic coming up on April 3rd. April 3rd. They're not airing the show live. They're airing it on Sunday, a day later. But that was the way the contract issues worked out. But we are launching there, which is really good. And they have
news.
those labor disputes in Madison. So
I was
waiting
for that. Okay.
Right.
I was kind of like, where's this going?
Yeah, it's a big deal right now. The whole labor dispute.
And even the one in Wisconsin it's valid. Those people aren't $1 million contract employees. These are teachers and firefighters who most people would argue don't get paid what they're worth.
Yeah, I mean, just playing that card so loosely, it's so insulting to people that really are unfortunate enough to be involved in modern day slavery. Even in the corporate world, people look at, janitors and, the low pay that they make as being modern day slaves.
Right.
So it depends how you look at it. But for a multimillionaire to make that claim is just, it's disgusting to me.
Adrian Peterson's agent came out the following day and apologized on his behalf, but also said that we shouldn't be taking what Adrian Peterson said out of context. So my question is, what other context is there?
Well, where do you go with that?
I did read about 2 paragraphs about that with the context of what he said, and it really isn't much different from what we're saying here.
Exactly.
I mean, we're pretty much giving a synopsis, but it really isn't all that different. He's saying modern day slavery. He's saying there's people who are in regular jobs, which is still a very unfair comparison to make. Nobody's making $8 million a year cleaning toilets or teaching, somebody's ungrateful kids.
Yeah, I mean, we put a lot of effort on this show into trying as hard as we can to never mislead our audience, and this is the result of the conversation that we're having. So I don't know how much out of context it could possibly be.
And keep in mind also that Adrian Peterson has been the best football player in his league, area, neighborhood, whatever, since he was 6 years old. And he's always been coddled and spoiled, and he doesn't, like a lot of professional athletes who are multimillionaires, doesn't have a proper worldview. And that leads him to make statements like, "Oh, this is modern day slavery." He has no concept of what that means. Probably
he needs to go to lunch with Charlie Sheen. That seems like a great.
They would make a good team.
Winning.
Yeah, for real. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Roscoe's on 7th Sports Grill.
Hosted the first big party every week with its 2-for-1 Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Enjoy great food and daily drink specials while watching one of our 13 screens, catching all your favorite sports action, plus the best scenery in town, if you know what I mean.
Roscoe's on 7th is located just south of Highland on 7th Street. Log on to roscoesonseventH.com. Roscoe's on 7th.
Your sports bar.
At In Touch Wellness Center, our team has the experience and compassion to ease your mind and take care of your specific needs. We are committed to the newest techniques available and are always searching for new ways to effectively care for our patients. We are excited to offer spinal decompression and look forward to sharing the most cutting-edge advances with you. Say you heard us on Compete Radio, and you'll receive a complimentary exam and 20-minute decompression session. Stop by our office located in Phoenix at 3431 West Thunderbird Road, Suite 9, or call 602-548-1998. You can also log on to intouchwellnesscenter.com.
Sports Club of City Square, over 35,000 square feet filled with state-of-the-art equipment. Call 602-285-2929.
Thompson Image Photography specializes in headshots, portraits, children's photography, weddings, commitment ceremonies, editorial, and lifestyle photography. Our studio is located in Paradise Valley. We offer a wide range of products from your standard prints to prints on canvas. There are two photographers at Thompson Image Photography, Don Thompson and Stephanie Heyman. We can be reached at 602-418-2262, and please visit our website, www.thompsonimage.com.
Compete night at the Coyotes with Ion AZ March 29th at jobbing.com arena. Call 480-222-4223 for more information.
The party place to be for over 26 years is Charlie's at 7th Avenue and Camelback in the heart of Central Phoenix. There's always something going on and drink specials every day. Kick off your weekend the wet way with Go-Go Boys and dance music on the patio with Wet Fridays at 9:30 and after hours until 4 a.m. Also wrap up your weekend on Sunday with the party on the patio starting at 3 p.m. It's Sinful Sundays with volleyball all afternoon and drink specials too hot to handle. Find us on Facebook under Charlie's Phoenix and get updates on daily specials. It's Charlie's.
Something dirty going on.
Steel Gym, the only real gym in New York City. From aerobic machines to strength training, 2 floors with all the equipment you need to achieve your fitness goals. Independent, more personal, open 24 hours, and named one of the top 6 gyms in the U.S. by Muscle and Fitness magazine. All personal trainers, welcome. Steel Gym. Come by and see why we're the only real gym in New York City.
For more information, feel free to contact us at www.steelgym.com or 212-352-9876.
Hi, this is Angela, president of One Community. We are an interactive web and events community for gay, lesbian, and allied individuals and businesses. One Community is proud to sponsor Compete Radio's weekly show on 1480 KPHX. Remember, you vote with your wallet every day. For a list of gay, lesbian, and allied businesses and to find out about our upcoming events, visit us at www.onecommunity.co. Social membership with One Community is free. Business memberships start at just $30 per month. For up-to-the-minute news, One Community business discounts, and your chance to win great prizes such as starring in a video with the Phoenix Mercury's Diana Taurasi and Penny Taylor, log on to onecommunity.co. That's onecommunity.co.
This is Compete Sports News Brief.
This is Buddy Early with your Compete Sports News Brief. It's been 1 week since the NFL's lockout became a reality, and there's still no indication of how long this labor dispute might continue. It's in the hands of the U.S. District Court currently, and ultimately up to the parties involved to strike a compromise, as impossible as that sounds. But one thing is certain. Neither the players nor the owners are favoring too well in the court of public opinion. A recent Bloomberg poll found that although Americans favored the players by more than a 2-to-1 margin, 37% said they were disinterested or unsure. In the category of who can be more petty, the players won up to the owners this week. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the NFL Players Association has contacted 17 top prospects who ordinarily would have received an invitation to attend the April 28 draft and informed them not to go. Typically, draftees, after hearing their name called, would join Commissioner Roger Goodell on the stage at Radio City Music Hall, get the hat and jersey of their new team, pose for photos, and submit to televised interviews. If the NFLPA has its way, however, those moments of a lifetime will not happen. On Tuesday, NFLPA executive George Atala tweeted that there would be no boycott, but followed that up with a very vague message implying that the organization would host draftees at a separate location down the street. Last week, the union decertified, meaning it declared itself out of the business of representing players. In exchange for giving up their rights under labor law, the players are able to take their chances in court under antitrust law. But the union still exists to offer support to the players. While NFL players and owners are doing possible irreparable damage to their reputations, American soccer is enjoying a growth spurt. Major League Soccer kicked off its 16th season this week with interest at an all-time high. Thanks to newer franchises in Seattle, Philadelphia, and Toronto, the league set a total attendance record last season, and its average of 16,675 rivals and even beats attendance at many professional baseball, basketball, and hockey arenas. With new additions in Portland and Vancouver bringing the league to 18 teams, the future looks even brighter. And figure skating gold medalist Evan Lysacek was named the winner of the Sullivan Award this week. The honor goes annually to an outstanding amateur athlete and is based on leadership, character, and sportsmanship. I'm Buddy Early, and this has been another Compete Sports News Brief.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
Roscoe's on 7th is the only gay sports bar in Arizona. For more information, log on to roscoeson7th.com.
You're listening to the only GLBT sports radio show in the nation. Compete Radio. Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. It's time for what's going on in your neighborhood and around the world. This segment is brought to you by Roscoe's Sports Bar. It is the only gay sports bar in Arizona. Eric, tell me about the White Party. It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a big, exciting deal. And I just got my invitation. I'm going to be going to the White Party. And who else is going to be going to the White Party this year?
I'm busy that date. When is it?
It is April 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I know you're going to be busy, buddy.
I usually am.
Are you a busy buddy?
I'm always busy. I think I would have gone to the White Party at some point in my life, but I think it's not for me now. But I hear you're going, and you're going to have a great time.
I am going. I'm going to have a really, really good time. I'm going to be a show model at the very exciting White Party. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the one in Palm Springs, which I think is where most people are going to be going.
Where are you? Where's your White Party? Is this like a Lennon, like a Anna's Linens?
It's a Macy's one.
It's actually a Beds Bath & Beyond in Anchorage, Alaska.
Right.
That's his White Party.
So they said,
I thought you were talking about like a Republican convention or something.
Well, they sent me an entire kit. It included a little teeny weeny Speedo and a really large fur coat. So I don't know how those work together, but I'll be modeling that.
Why are you always getting and wearing Speedos? Every chance you get. Like, this is the 5th time on this show where he has mentioned wearing, like, a string bikini or a Speedo or something. Why are...
I wouldn't wear a bikini. I would wear a one-piece, by the way.
And he would put it on backwards for added effect.
But anyway, no, I think the White Party is a huge event. I do know that Michael Holt, our Athlete of the Year, is going to be there, and also David Ray, our first runner-up, or one of our first runners-up from the Athlete of the Year contest, are going to be at the White Party. And I know a good friend of yours is actually going to be entertaining the crowds there, Josh.
Winter
Gordon.
Oh, yes.
So
Dirty talk.
You said good friend of Josh's. I thought you meant Madonna.
Oh, right. I wish. Who is your date for the White Party, Eric?
In case you didn't get it, I'm really not going.
Oh. Well,
there is no White Party in Anchorage, Alaska. I was kind of making that up. But the Compete Mobile will be there.
But there is the real White Party, though.
The real White Party is April 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th.
I am so confused right now.
Everyone, come meet Michael Holt and David Ray at the Palm Springs version of the White Party, April 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yes, Michael Holtz. He is the Compete Sports Media Athlete of the Year. What else is going on?
Well, we're doing a lot of events this weekend. First off, tonight we're going to be having the Roscoe's Radio launch party at Roscoe's Sports Bar, the only gay sports bar in Phoenix.
Huge deal.
And I do know that Alfonso and Buddy are going to have some great interview opportunities to talk to people there. We're excited to say it.
It's going to be a really, really fun night because this is not only our launch party, but this is Roscoe's Fan Appreciation Weekend. So they're expecting a really big weekend. Compete Magazine and Compete Radio are both going to be there. Alfonso and Josh and I believe, all going to be there. We're going to be doing a remote broadcast. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I want to say my friend Luis is having a birthday party at Roscoe's that night. He's moving it there. It's going to be a great time. Happy birthday.
Well,
Luis.
it's tonight. The Roscoe's launch party is tonight, and it is going to start between 6 and 6:30. It is your chance to get on the radio.
So happy birthday, Luis.
Yeah.
Happy
But
birthday.
it's a very special edition of Compete Radio, right?
Yes.
I also want to say, and I'm going to pronounce this right, and Buddy will say I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's the Pugba tournament.
You might be right. I thought it was Pugba.
They call it Pugba Prit.
Pugba Prit. Okay.
Now, what was it? Steve that came by the office yesterday to pick up some magazines for the event. Alfonso.
I don't remember if Steve was his name.
A big shout out to Pugba, though. You can pick up a
Yeah.
copy of Compete Magazine, too, at their event. So we're glad to be part of the Pugba Phoenix Regional Invitational Tournament this weekend. We're also going to be participating in the HRC dinner, the HRC annual dinner and game here in Phoenix. That sounds fancy, doesn't it?
It is fancy.
I was wondering why Alfonso said I should wear a dress, though. I don't think it's that fancy.
Just don't wear the same dress as Connie.
I said a muumuu, not a dress. It's not quite the same.
Star-studded event.
So that should really be a lot of fun. Also, tomorrow is the March 20th is the Florida AIDS Walk in Florida.
Yes.
And we are a big sponsor of that.
Yeah.
So we want everyone to go out there and support Florida and support the AIDS Walk there. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Very, very good cause. That's so much fun to be a part of, and it's really helping.
Okay.
That's all. I was just saying I'm a big supporter of the AIDS.
I'm guessing that you're going to be putting a link up on Compete Radio underneath the earthquake relief if they want to give some money to the Florida AIDS Walk as well. Is that correct, Josh?
I will try to get one up. I'm not sure if we have a good source for that, but I will try and get that up as well.
Come see the crew at Roscoe's or come see the crew at HRC tonight. We'd love to see you all, meet you all in person, and we'll have some great events for you next week.
That's about all the time we have. That was a quick hour.
Yeah, it was.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for your news, information, hot topics, and more. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you tonight at Roscoe's on 7th. It is the only gay sports bar in Arizona. And we'll see you tonight, and be sure to listen next week on 1480 KPHS.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more.